I would like to pass off to our first presenter, who is Kseniya Dolia, VP of Technology Partnerships at Gurtam. Kseniya, good afternoon or good evening, as it were, for you.
Good morning, Keith. Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure to present Gurtam at this event and actually to become a part of IMC.
Thank you.
So yeah, as Keith said, I represent Gurtam. We are a software development company, and we concentrate on the software products for IoT. We have 18 years of experience in the industry, which basically allow us to see how the choice of technology impacts the business in the long term, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. So each solution provider working in the IoT industry has a strategic choice to make. No matter whether we are developers ourselves or we are searching for a third-party solution provider, we need to decide what our software should be, what our solution should be. An out-of-the-box solution created to address a particular need, to satisfy a particular niche of the market, or a universally applicable platform that can tackle different tasks and has a large target audience, but most probably this is a solution that should be set or somehow adapted to a particular customer. So in most cases, we would tend to choose a tailor-made approach. And it kind of seems obvious when we look at the advantages that are out there. A dedicated solution stands out among competitors, helps customers to see what is our unique sales proposition. It's already created to answer the needs of our customers and doesn't require us investing our time and effort in setting or adapting it somehow. It's easy to master its capabilities for us, our technical teams, for our business development managers. Yes, it does have a limited list of features, but who needs it if our customer doesn't require anything extra at the moment? Yes, it's applicable for only one IoT niche, but one would probably be enough if the niche is actually chosen wisely. That would be our approach in the old predictable times. Global pandemic and the new health and safety regulations that followed impacted our business in multiple ways, starting from how we interact within our teams, how we interact with our customers, but obviously doesn't stop there. In particular, I would like to mention the supply chain interruption and a decline of the particular niches of the market. In case we rely on one IoT device manufacturer or prefer an end-to-end solution with dedicated devices, we significantly increase our risks to face supply shortages. The lack of spare parts was one of the key concerns that hardware manufacturers shared with us during Navitoring Expo, that telematics event in Moscow that we attended just this April. In case the manufacturer lacks the spare parts, he can't deliver our order on time, it means that we, telematics service provider, can do our business. But what to do if the business itself is in a free fall? Telematics solution providers working in tourism and in public transportation had to face a lot of customers, the projects put on hold. That's where a universal hardware-agnostic solution shows its true colors. So one might argue that 2020 has put an end to single sourcing when it comes to supply chain. But how to achieve diversification when it comes to IoT hardware? The capabilities of your software is the key. The ideal situation is, of course, that your software already supports multiple hardware brands. I allow myself to use Wialon platform as an example for such solution. It's important to check how many brands the software actually supports, whether the new ones are added to the list, and how fast it is done. Being a hardware-agnostic platform means having the resources to support devices based on the customer's request and also to maintain all existing integration. And that's what we've committed to do at Gurtam. So, okay, but what if your software has only one supported manufacturer? Is this the end? If it's the API-first solution, you have a way out. The market gives you a wide choice of IoT gateways that are specifically designed to serve as a bridge between IoT platforms and hardware manufacturers. The gateway providers normally will take care of the integration and, most importantly, will normalize the data from devices and will make it available for further transfer to the software that you use. The example of that is our gateway FlashP, created by developers for developers, but there are other gateways out there that you should definitely consider. The hardware choice that we have as a result allows us to cooperate with several suppliers at the same time and reduce the risks of supply shortages. We have 2.8 million units connected to our platform, Wialon. This gives us a nice research basis. We analyzed the use of our platform by the top 50 our biggest customers. None of them rely on one hardware manufacturer. They rely on 3, 4, 5 hardware suppliers just to be on the safe side. Moreover, if you, a telematics software provider, have several suppliers of IoT hardware, you benefit from different technologies and can address different niches of the market, which is crucial in the context of the pandemic. So we all know how hard tourism was hit by COVID-19. We have a customer on a sunny island of Maldives. It's a wonderful place where tourism plays a huge role in the economy. Our customer is a telematics service provider. He works with 5-star hotels and tracks boats the tourists use for snorkeling, for cruising. Before COVID-19, this type of tracking represented 45% of his business. However, during the spring of 2020, the whole tourism industry basically stopped. So how could a telematics service provider survive in such circumstances? So the answer was to diversify, to change the target audience in IoT and to change it fast. So our customer concentrated on fishing industry, on fuel transportation, and managed to survive and to save his business. But how to diversify? In case your software already has a wide list of features, you are on the safe side. So all you need to do is to figure out how to use the functionality that you had all along or that could be activated somehow on your supplier level. A nice alternative is a marketplace. A marketplace normally means a choice of pre-integrated software solutions or applications that are developed and sold by different vendors. If your solution is integrated with or has its own IoT marketplace, you can easily add an extra application or interface to your portfolio. The most difficult road, of course, is the custom development. It's still a way out, however, to switch from one target audience to another, but it won't be as fast as you might like it to be. Meantime, all those 3 ways allow you to reach interoperability and make sure that you don't have all the eggs in one basket. So all of this is like very nice, but how to deal with disadvantages of a multi-tool solution? It is still complex. It's still difficult to stand out on the market. It still means that you would lack some niche expertise. And maybe as it's a universal solution, you might lack some very specific dedicated features. And here at this point, I would like to use our example and say a few words about how we fight with all disadvantages and what are the things to consider while choosing a truly multi-tool solution. So we at Gurtam, we rely, let's say, on the 4 pillars, which is knowledge sharing, community spirit, service quality, and integration. Gurtam is a software provider that works with distributors. We call them and we truly see them as our partners. So our goal to provide those partners with all required knowledge about Wialon capabilities. Here, I mean, not only the list of features, it's easy to get, you give the documentation, that's it. But I mean the knowledge how this and that features can be used for this and that industry, for this and that niche of the IoT market. What are the latest developments in the industry? What other suppliers, added value suppliers can give them, maybe hardware manufacturers or connectivity providers. And we achieve this acting on several levels at the same time. So we do webinars where our partners can learn not only from Gurtam specialists, but also from other industry experts. We provide training, the possibility to certify the knowledge of their technical teams and therefore establish a certain level of expertise inside their team and the goal to aim to. We created an online portal to gather educational materials and that can be used when and how they find convenient. And last but not least, we have dedicated implementation managers to assist customers with projects they have, to recommend features, hardware to use, connectivity to use, answer some non-standard, uncommon questions. So it's important to make sure that your supplier, if you decide to go ahead with a more universal solution, it's important that your supplier accompanies you along the way and helps you to master the solution to succeed in the industry. Otherwise, yes, you will have an overwhelming set of features, but how to use it fully, how to use it at 100%. But knowledge sharing, it doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? So it doesn't happen on its own. You need to have someone to share the knowledge with and to get it from. That's where the importance of the community shines the brightest. In order to make sure that our customers can interact with each other and can learn from each other, we created several channels. So before COVID-19, we organized physical events where customers can meet, speak about their use cases, problems they're facing, attend workshops, presentations, and also meet other experts from the industry. When COVID happened, it made us rethink our traditional approach, and we invented the concept of Gurtam TV. So that's a series of meetups dedicated to the ways to deal with the crisis, latest trends, the ways to choose connectivity for IoT, et cetera, et cetera. So we invite our customers to share the expertise. We invite hardware connectivity providers to join. We also created several partner chats in messengers where our customers can communicate instantly. And that's also the place where they can, for example, share their opinion about the devices that they purchased, or ask the opinion of the others, or ask, okay, so I have this and that project. That's a difficulty that I face. Have you guys ever faced it, and how you solved it? And yet another channel to share the success story is our case library. So we ask our partners to share with us their use cases in different verticals, and our marketing team makes it available for all Wialon users. So while choosing a provider, take a look whether there is a community that you can join, because a community will enrich your expertise, will help you to find the workarounds that you never knew existed, and it will help you switching from target audience to target audience, because in the big community, there is always someone that already worked with the customer that you are looking to right now. So, okay, we are well-trained. We have the backup from the fellow telematics providers, but how we could make our service stand out among competitors? So the service quality is something that speaks for itself from my perspective and helps you to stand out even when you have to compete with a solution similar to yours from the first sight. So we at Gurtam commit to provide a high platform uptime. We support our customers 24/7. We have troubleshooting team, and last but not least, we maintain our internal processes on a level that allows us to get international certification. Make sure that you can rely on your provider to assure high quality service to your customers. And for sure, high quality service means that you have to make the commitments of your own. So, okay, we are well trained how to use our software. We know where to find the niche expertise that we need. We can provide high quality service. But what if the niche that we're considering, the industry that we're considering, requires some specific feature or some specific integration, some specific hardware? So Gurtam team is open to cooperate on the business and technical levels with different players of the telematics industry. We have a marketplace with third-party applications integrated with a platform. So these applications target specific niches or even have specific tasks to solve. For example, like car sharing, fuel cards, working with fuel cards, vehicle checking, etc., etc. Being a hardware agnostic is a strength in itself, as it allows you as a customer to choose some specific device that fits the requirements of the industry, may it be reliability, some specific connectivity that a device uses, or some specific features of the device. It's also important to have a choice of connectivity. Mining companies operate in the areas where cellular coverage is the issue, so we try to give our customers a choice and make sure that we support satellite connectivity, low power consumption providers like LoRa and Sigfox, of course. We give our customers access to our API and allow them to create the feature that they are lacking using Wialon data or make their own integrations with third-party solutions. And in case it's too time-consuming for them, we have a telematics gateway that they can use as a bridge between solutions and interfaces. So while choosing a provider, make sure that he doesn't force you to operate in a closed system, and you have the possibility to enrich your offers when you need it. Gurtam team strongly believes that flexibility and interoperability is a way forward. So last year we launched the IoT Project of the Year award. So that's an event open to any telematics provider, no matter whether he uses our products or not. It doesn't celebrate our products or our platform. It celebrates the ingenuity of telematics providers, their expertise, the complexity of the projects that they can implement without a ready-made solution. The awards are given to those who can show difficult implementations, who can show non-standard use of the features that we saw like years ago. And it's important to highlight that we launched this award last year during COVID-19, during the pandemic and the crisis. And despite that, we got more than 100 applications with projects implemented during last year, during 2020. The providers that applied to the IoT Project of the Year managed to grow their business, even facing economic recession and lockdowns. So from my perspective, that's the best proof that interoperability and the will to change is what we need right now. And I'm really looking forward to see what applications we will receive this year and what this year IoT Project of the Year might be. So, dear audience, I hope that I convinced you Thank you so much for your attention, and I am ready for your questions. So, Keith, I'm passing the word to you.
Thanks so much, Kseniya, and really interesting stuff. Particularly wanted to talk just a little bit more about COVID and the pandemic and how that affected things out there in the IoT field. A lot of people, and I don't want to sound too mercenary about it, but a lot of business models have actually accelerated in the IoT space on account of COVID. And the reasons are, I guess, pretty obvious, using remote devices as opposed to having people in the field and things like that. There was some natural affinity there. But you mentioned supply shortages and the advantages of going with multiple manufacturers in terms of your hardware. And you gave an excellent example of somebody who was able to sort of adjust their business model to COVID conditions. Can you give us an example of somebody who was unable to do that? Somebody who really paid the price, without naming names, of course, but examples of where somebody who didn't diversify their hardware supply ended up paying a price for it.
I would say that, unfortunately, we had a few examples, which was very, very sad to see. Of course, as I mentioned, like anyone that kind of betted on travel, like tourism industry and public transportation, they faced the projects put on hold, and that was a very difficult situation when the customers are not paying, you are unable to pay to your provider. And basically, that's you don't know how to make your business, going moving forward. So tourism industry, I would say that was the domain hit the hardest.
Right. You talked a lot in your presentation about available features and all the different things that Wialon and your platforms can provide. Sort of a philosophical question: is it reasonable to ask people to pay for features that they're not perhaps using right away?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good question. That's a very good question, and that's not something that we are aiming for. So our business model for sure provides the possibilities to pay for what you're using, but at the same time to have the possibility to increase the functionality and to increase the list of features that you have. We agree that it's pointless to pay for something that you're not using. The idea is to have something in your pocket that you can basically take anytime or ask your supplier to activate it for you.
Interesting. And your platform presumably provides the ability to do that. Is it possible for people who perhaps have already invested in legacy systems to somehow fuse those two approaches together? Somebody's already got a legacy software platform, but can they still benefit from the kind of flexible APIs that you described?
Yes, I think that's definitely a way out. It would be more difficult as it would require some development resources, but still, I would say that legacy providers should see how they can integrate with the solutions that are out there in the market. And I think that a great tool for that is the IoT gateways. So that there are different IoT gateways in the market. Some of them are created for specific industry, for example, agricultural machinery or heavy machinery. But they are out there, and that's something that suppliers should consider.
Right. You mentioned, that using sort of an agnostic approach to hardware it can allow you to support IoT devices on request. How quickly, are you at Gurtam able to do that in the field, especially given pandemic and everything else going on today?
Yeah, of course, we aim to support those devices upon request for customers. The period really depends on the complexity of the integration. In an ideal situation, 2 weeks, and your device is working on Wialon. But of course, if we're talking about video devices or something like very, very, very specific niche solution, yes, that could take a few months.
Right. When it comes to the marketplace that you guys talked about, your community, so to speak, do you have to be someone who's using Gurtam applications to participate in that? If someone's got their own IoT, app, can they feature on your marketplace?
Yeah, for sure. And we are constantly adding the solution, and we are reaching out to the suppliers of the applications ourselves. And also, we are very much pleased when someone contacts us and wants to be there. We provide our API, it's open, and any solution integrated with us can feature at the marketplace.
Right. And I assume the same thing is true for your IoT project of the year. Folks don't necessarily need to be Gurtam clientele.
Yeah, that's 100% true, because the most important thing is the expertise. Right. We don't reward only our customers, we reward those who implement complex telematic solutions.
Great stuff. Hey, Kseniya, we're right up against it. So I wanted to thank you so much for your presentation this morning. Very interesting stuff, and surely from a unique perspective. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, and thank you for the audience.